Yeah, that's right. We are very much back. The UFC is very much back. The middleweight division, I don't know if it's back, but we do have a very interesting middleweight main event on this UFC event. Sean Strickland, the former UFC middleweight champion, taking on the surging Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, who enters his second consecutive main event fight on an 8-fight win streak. Title implications galore for this fight. The stakes are very, very high. And supported by a pretty solid main card. There's lots to like here if you're a mixed martial arts fan with this UFC Houston event. As we welcome you to the People's Pre-Fight Show, I am Mike Heck, and I'm here to answer all of your questions. There's obviously a lot that has gone on in the combat sports space. Of course, we got UFC Houston. We got the Ryan Garcia fight coming up later on against Barrios. Conor Benn has signed with Zuffa Boxing. There's just so much craziness going on right now. And of course, shout out to the Twitchsters who are here with us as well. So fire in those questions. We'll get to as many as we can before the fists start to fly in the Lone Star State. Super chatters, get to the front of the line. Here we go. Connor, off topic from tonight, but is there any truth to the Yuri versus Hamzat fight being booked for April? As I tweeted out earlier today, always remember the golden rule. If it's not MMA fighting, it's not real. Obviously, we've reached out to both sides. One person with knowledge said that there's no truth to it. I've also talked to some folks who said this is sort of an idea that the UFC has, almost like a Hail Mary of some kind. I would say unlikely, but you never know at this point. The UFC is trying to put together big fights. That is like random and out of nowhere. So I would be surprised if it happens, but you never know. There's a lot of fights that have been rumored and talked about on social media that just aren't accurate to this point. Doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. It just means that as of this moment, speaking to people who would absolutely know the answer to this question, I'm being told there is nothing to that as of this time. But, you know, we weren't sure if Joshua Van versus Tetsuya Taira was going to happen. And, you know, Josh Van broke the news yesterday. That is happening in Miami. I confirmed that yesterday. But of all the other fights that are on the table, I have not confirmed any of those fights. And one person told us no truth to that report. So we'll see. We'll see. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but to report it as a done deal and it's definitely happening, way too early for that. Excuse me. I ran like a high rocks race today and a little still feeling it in the old lungs and chest here. Take a swig of the Diet Coke. Here we go. Joseph, Mike, I know it's 3 months away, but are you and Jed planning on watching Rousey versus Carano on May 16th? Yeah. I would be shocked if a watch party is not happening for that event either. So, of course, we'll be watching. Everybody's going to be watching that fight. Masters, how do you feel about Jordan Leavitt moving to featherweight? He's very talented, but wasn't exactly the fastest guy. Do you think it's a good move for him or not? It's hard to know. We'll have a better answer in a few hours. He's fighting a pretty legit dude. So, yeah, we'll find out. I mean, Jordan Leavitt is a very interesting cat, obviously. He is, I would call him an overachiever. I think that's a pretty fair way to kind of like define him. But dude's winning fights. I remember interviewing him when he was on the regional scene. He was a guy that was winning a bunch of fights on the regional scene, and he was having a really hard time finding opponents to fight him because he was just a slick submission artist. So he is solid. Did I think he'd be like a UFC fighter going on like a multi-year run? Probably not, but he's done pretty well. He had a big fight with Paddy Pimblett. Makes news when he's out there. So we'll see. We'll see. We will, like I said, we'll definitely have a better answer when it comes to that. What will be the biggest story coming out of UFC Houston outside of the main event? That's a good question. Melky Costa is a ranked fighter. But I think I'll go with, no matter what happens with Josiah Harrell, him just getting in there and fighting tonight is a huge win for him. Like, even if he loses to Jacoby Smith, which, by the way, I love the matchup. I'm still very intrigued by it. I was stunned how much bigger Jacoby Smith was when they had the final face-off. I was like, holy cow, he looks like 2 weight classes bigger than Josiah. But Josiah's fought bigger dudes a lot of his regional runs. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that fight. And I think win, lose, or draw, if Harrell is competitive in any way, I think that's going to be a big story and should be. Jubes, do you think Fluffy could leap Imavov off for the title shot if he beats Strickland the same way he has his last couple of opponents? It's possible. If he does to Sean Strickland what he did to Roman Dolidze, he's getting a title shot. 100% he's getting it. Like, it'd just be promotional malpractice at this point to not give it to him. He has a 9-fight win streak, 2 incredible performances back-to-back, including one against a former champion. And I hate to say that when Imavov absolutely deserves it. Sorry. But it's very possible. Very possible. Mike Heck doing CrossFit competitions by day, pre-fight Q&As by evening. You're damn right. Damn right. Twitchter's in the house. Under Armour Mike is back. Which underdog do you like the most? Let me take a gander. I think there's always value on Dan Ige when he's fighting a guy looking to break in. I kind of feel like Costa is going to win, but Dan is a tough out, man. Like, he's just a tough out for everybody. I did not love the way he looked in the Patricio Pitbull fight, but it seems like he's taken some time and got his stuff together. I think Zach Reese is a pretty good underdog play. I think Zach Reese is just going to smoke Michel Pereira because I just don't think he's got a whole lot left. Yeah. So that's kind of like, let me see what the prelims are saying. I think Phil Rowe has a really good chance to win. Brahimaj is an underdog. That's interesting. I do think Soriano's going to win, but I think Ode Osborne is a pretty solid underdog play. I think Cheating Jokwani is a solid underdog play. But if I have to choose one, I'll go Phil Rowe. I know there is an empty mic back there. Delia Spivak line completely shifted, near coin flip now, compared to almost 3-1 for Delia. I don't know. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, if it's one of those things where the UFC is informed of this, wouldn't shock me if they pulled it. So, something to keep an eye on. Do you think the next Hamzat fight will be on the White House? He kind of passes the casual test. No. Because it doesn't need him. It does not need him. So, the White House just being by itself that's the attraction. And that's how I think, honestly, I think that's how the UFC is going to present this. But it could happen. Hippie Speedball, how do you think Gable Steveson looked on Thursday? Doubts about his cardio? Not particularly. I mean, look, he is still green as grass in this MMA world. He is obviously very talented, great wrestler. Actually, is a much better striker than I thought he would be at this point in his career. But honestly, like, the biggest question I had of him was, can he take a shot? Can he take a punch? Can he take a kick? And boy, did he in that fight. Hugo is a vet. Like, he's solid. For a guy who is 2-0 in MMA to fight a guy who is a world champion in a pretty notable organization, decent record. Yeah, there's got to be times where he's gonna get hit, and I was curious how he would react to that. And he took a spinning wheel kick to the friggin' face and then finished the fight 45 seconds later. So, yeah, I was impressed. I still think he's gonna fight on the White House card. I think he's gonna debut. I think they're gonna feed him to they're gonna feed him somebody. And yeah, who's that dude? I'm trying to remember his name. Whoever Josh Hokett just fought in his UFC debut, that's who he should be fighting. Not Denzel Freeman, the dude he fought before. That's who Gable should fight in his UFC debut. I really do wonder if Dana was impressed by Gable. Dude, Gable has impressed them from moment one. The moment he said, I'm fighting MMA, they were impressed by him. Sean Shelby went to Dirty Boxing to watch him fight. They're impressed. I don't know if he is like, I don't know if he's like signed, but something tells me they already have him like locked up in principle. Again, I have no insight to this, but that's how I would view it. It's like the Bo Nickel thing, but Gable's not fighting on Contender Series. Gable fighting on Contender Series is ridiculous. Oh, we got a super chat. Didn't see that. What do you know about Colby versus Bo for the White House? Nothing. I know Bo has kind of tweeted it out, but I don't know. I don't know anything that's going on with the White House. Bum Hunter. Any advice? Some Venezuelan dudes broke into my garage last night. I made a police report. I'm so freaked out. I feel targeted. I don't know. I mean, I haven't experienced that, but I wish you the best. And I think you've done the right thing. And stay safe, my man. Mike, were you shocked about Conor Benn? Was he disloyal to Matchroom? To some degree. But it's only like a one-fight deal and 8 figures, so I mean, if you're Conor Benn, like, and someone's offering you that, you should probably jump at that. I mean, I thought the statement he put out after was a pretty classy one. Like, he still hopes to work with Eddie. And, you know, Eddie has issues with a lot of promoters, but he still works with them. So, but I think we have a better insight as to why Eddie Hearn is so angry this week, but not to mention Dana just keeps firing shots at him. And there's rumors out there I keep seeing on social media that, if you think the Conor Benn deal was something, wait till you see what's coming. I'm curious about that as well. Todd, what's up, my man? Sorry, I don't want to keep coughing on the mic. Think higher-end fighters will speak out about the 8-figure Conor Benn one-fight deal? No. I mean, they might say something, but nothing's going to change. Like, I'm done talking about the fighter pay thing at this point because if it hasn't changed now, it's not going to, and the fighters are fully to blame for it. So they could have got together when they sold the company back in 2016. They could have organized after the ESPN deal. They could have organized after the Venom deal. They certainly could have organized after the Paramount deal. And none of them are going to do it. There's no chance that these fighters are going to come together and change and get things changed. Just no chance it happens. So it's a bummer. I think people will be a little more vocal about it, but nothing is going to change at all. So. Do you think the Juliana Miller, Carly Judice odds are harsh? I know we're probably confident on Judice getting the win, but I heard the line is huge. Rate the upset level if she wins. Currently, the betting line is Carly Judice minus 850. The comeback on Juliana Miller is plus 590. Seems right, honestly. I mean, Juliana's like sneaky on the ground, but she is going to get punched in the face and probably kicked in the face. And Carly Giudice is like a little untested with the grappling, but I think Carly Giudice is going to smash her. I mean, that's just the way I see it. Could be wrong. It would be a pretty massive upset. I'd be very surprised. Mike, have you jumped off the Montel Jackson train? I've jumped off the Montel Jackson could fight for a belt train. I think that ship has sailed. They've given him opportunities, and he's fallen short in both of them. So I think he's a solid fighter. He just didn't fight enough, and it's unfortunate because he's a very talented cat. So, could he be a top 15, maybe a top 10 guy? Sure, but he's not fighting for a belt. Do you think the UFC would put out a fight card the same night as Rousey versus Carano? What day of the week is May 16th? Oh, it's a Saturday. Yeah, they'll put something on. I don't think it's going to be a pay-per-view or anything. It'll just be like probably an Apex card or something. It would be pretty funny if they like loaded up a big friggin' card on that day, though. Like, I would respect the hell out of it. I'm not sold on Gable just because I believe MMA is the sport of his last choice. The guy would do anything else if he had the chance, so I could see him quitting if it gets too hard. We'll see. Heavyweight is not good. Like, I'm not saying, like, let's look at the heavyweight division right now. Let's look at the ranked heavyweights. Like, I wouldn't pick up against Aspinall, Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Blades, WCA. I think he could beat Kuniev. I think he could beat Spivak. Somehow Jailton Almeida is still in the rankings despite not being in the company. He could beat Tybura. He could beat Taliesin Teixeira. Derek Lewis would be interesting. But the Derek Lewis that fought at UFC 324, Gable is running him over. And they're like, he beats a lot of these guys right now. Just because he can wrestle and he's an athlete. So, yeah, man. What else we got here? Mike, would you rather see Gane versus Pereira or Bones versus Pereira at the White House for the heavyweight interim belt? Also, Ulberg versus Yuri or Hamzat versus Yuri? I mean, Jones-Pereira is just such a big fight. It's unfortunate. Like, the problem with that fight is, like, I think I know how it goes. John just tackles him and beats him. So that would be of concern. Gane one's interesting just because of the historic stakes attached to it. But the second question is Ulberg Yuri by 5,000 miles. I have zero interest in Hamzat Chimaev fighting Yuri Prochazka. None. I have none. Like, seeing the reports, I was like, huh? That's weird. And, like, if they book the fight, could I, like, will myself into it because it's Yuri? Sure. But dude hasn't defended his belt once. Like, you just won the belt. Fight people. Like, there's so many guys he could fight right now that I'm actually interested in. Imavov is interesting. I would pick Hamzat to win, but either of these two guys fighting in the main event, I think would be fascinating matchups for Hamzat Chimaev. Fluffy especially. And Strickland too. Like, Strickland's not the most exciting guy in the world, but he does bring a style that if he can deal with Hamzat for a couple of rounds and make him work, like, Sean could come back. and do something. Like, there are fights. Now, if he's going to move up and fight Pereira, I mean, fine. Like, I'm not into that either, but, like, if you want to do that, like, that's a big-ass fight. Hamzat versus Yuri is, like, just weird. It makes no sense. And Carl Zolberg gets absolutely hosed here, if that's the case. Like, I'm sorry. After what he did to Dominic Reyes, because you best believe if Dominic Reyes beat Carl Zolberg, he was getting a title shot. And then Olberg just dusted him. What else does this guy have to do? Just give it to him. If Pereira's out of the picture, do Yuri versus Olberg. Like, it's fine. You don't have to throw Chimaev in there. It makes no sense. I could not dislike something more than this right now. When the champion at middleweight has plenty of dudes he can fight that are way more interesting than this fight. Vahi, Dana doesn't answer a lot of questions in post-presser. Don't you think it's time for Hunter to come out and face the questions from the media? No. No one wants to see that. I mean, there are certain things I would like to hear Hunter Campbell say. Did you see, like, just go through Hunter Campbell's testimony at that lawsuit? Like, I was, like, you couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I wasn't on the call, but, like, other people were listening in on stuff, and you can't record it or anything. But, like, that dude just seemed, like, so frustrating, and, like, you'd get no different at a press conference. So, what else we got? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're in the penalty box. Mike, if Lonnie Kavanaugh happens to beat Moreno, do you think he'll be in line for a title shot? No. It's reminiscent of Joshua Van's rise to me, taking these opportunities and running with them thoughts. No, he's not fighting for the belt. No. Manel Kopp should probably get the winner of this title fight. And then Pantoja's coming back. So that'd be, I mean, maybe Kavanaugh gets Kopp. But Moreno's kind of on a downside right now. Like, he got run over by Tetsuya Taira. I expect Brandon Moreno to have maybe some tough moments, but I expect him to cruise to a win here. And if he loses, then I think Lonnie Kavanaugh is a very talented kid. And I think in a few years, we are going to be having this conversation about Lonnie Kavanaugh being in title contention. But I think it'll be more about the downfall of Moreno than what we saw from Kavanaugh. Just right now. He's obviously very talented. He's a little rough. He's a little green right now. Does Jones Poatan last longer than Jones versus Gane? Yes. Yes, because Poatan has at least some ground game, some defense. Gane had none that night and was scared to death. Pereira certainly will not be scared to death of that situation. I do think John gets him out of there, but I don't know. John's injured, and after we saw what Dwight Howard did to him on the football field, maybe Pereira could beat him. I don't know. What else we got? How many rounds until Strickland's nose gets rebroken? I think he's got to get rebroken in this fight. I think Fluffy's just going to dominate here. Like, I understand that Sean brings stylistic tricks to the table that Fluffy has struggled with years ago, but he's just like, I don't see a world where like Fluffy's just going to stand in the center and have a kickboxing match with Sean Strickland. I think he's just going to come out, get shot out of a cannon, and he's just going to fight the Merab Dvalishvili style. It's not going to be the most thrilling thing you've seen for the first 8 to 10 minutes, but eventually Fluffy's going to start making some moves, and he is not going to stop. He's just going to keep coming. He's going to push Sean Strickland against the fence. He's going to take him down. Sean will get right back up. He'll take him right back down. It's going to be that a million times. And then eventually Sean's just going to get frustrated, and I think Fluffy's going to get him out of there. Round 4, TKO is my official pick. I don't think he submits Sean. I think Sean is a great defensive grappler, way better than he gets credit for. But I think Fluffy's just a maniac. And I know AK was on the preview show yesterday saying like, oh, I'm concerned about the injuries and stuff like that. Trust me when I tell you, outside of the Brendan Allen fight, which Fluffy has been open and honest about. He was like, I didn't look good in that fight because I was hurt, but it was Brendan Allen and I knew I could beat him, so I just fought him anyways. Fluffy Hernandez ain't fighting Sean Strickland unless he's about as healthy as he could possibly be. That's how he looks at his career right now. That's why there's a stretch where he was only fighting once a year, twice a year. He's not going in there compromised anymore unless he's like that confident that I could beat the guy. So basically, Brandon Allen fought like the 50% version of Anthony Hernandez, and Hernandez still beat him. And that win has aged tremendously well. Just look what Brandon Allen just did to Ronnie or to Ritter. So, yeah. Highest upside, Mario Pinto, Josh Hokett, or Walter Walker? That's a good question. I'm going to, not that this is no disrespect to Pinto, but I'm taking him off of the running here. Walker is interesting because he's got a great gimmick with the heel hooks, and he can talk his ass off when you give him the chance. I'll go with Hokett, man, because I think they're gonna push that guy to the moon. He's like just what the UFC likes. So I'll go with Hokett. Dude is very skilled. He's gonna be a tough out. Like I think Hokett could beat a lot of guys right now. But I think if the UFC kind of looked at these three guys and was like, who are we gonna put the Rockets to? They're putting it on Hokett without question. Plushie, do you think if Sean loses a dominant decision, then retirement talks from him, serious or not, will begin? Think he will fight for more than 2 more years? Yeah, I do. I think he does. What else is he gonna do? Sean is like he's like the perfect person to be an MMA fighter. And here's the thing with Sean. Sean is never out of the championship discussion. He's just not. There's no world in a fair and just sport where Sean Strickland should even be in championship discussions right this second. Like, he got a rematch to fight for the belt, and no one wanted to see this rematch, by the way. No one wanted to see it. They wanted Drickus to fight somebody else. There's like, okay. And then DDP just, I mean, it's about as one-sided as it gets in there. So, and maybe there were injuries, who the hell knows? But, I mean, I don't think he's going to retire. I think maybe if he loses this, he kind of goes back to the old Strickland where we just see him fight all the time. Maybe we can officially stop with the title conversation stuff, and then you can just go out there and fight people. That would be fun. So I don't think he's going to retire. Mike, what's more torturous to you? Kamaru getting the title shot or Hamzat moving up to light heavyweight before he defends his middleweight title? It's, oh God. It's probably still Usman. Because at least, like, if Hamzat moves up, like, he'll vacate his belt and, like, life goes on. It's not holding anything up. It's just opening doors for others to do this. Usman getting a title shot, like, holds up the division. Because they're like, okay, we're Michael Morales and Ian Machado Gary and all these guys have to sit and wait for this fight to happen. And they're like, what if Usman wins? What if he somehow wins? You know they're going to do an immediate rematch. And that, like, puts these guys out of the conversation even longer. So, yeah, come on, man. It's still going to be Usman for me. Even though I'm like, even though I've now like accepted it more because like the UFC matchmaking is ridiculous at this point, but it's gonna be Usman for me. Jones isn't fighting again. He turned down $30 million. Dana won't let JBJ fool him again. Yeah, he turned down $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. He will fight Alex Pereira for less money than that because he knows he will beat Alex Pereira, or he's very confident he will beat Alex Pereira. John's no dummy. So he's going to go. It's a money fight, and it's a fight. Like, that is the definition of prize fighting. That's what it is. You go out there as the A side, and you call for fights with bigger names and fights you're like favored to win. Colby Covington got to where he was at by being that guy. Like, Colby understood the game. He didn't fight Tyron Woodley when Woodley was at the peak of his powers. No. He waited till Woodley was like done, like washed, and then he fought him and beat him. And he got multiple title shots from like the decision making he had. Just look at what he's doing now. He's trying to, like, but the Bo Nickel fight makes so much sense right now. And yeah, he's like, yeah, I want to fight Paddy Pimblett, who's a lightweight and just lost to Justin Gaethje. Like, Colby knows what he's doing. And John knows the same thing. John's either going to fight Pereira or he's not going to fight ever again. So he'll fight Pereira for way less money. Reaction to the Hamzat Yuri rumors. We discussed that earlier. Not much to it. I hate it too, by the way. I think it's a terrible idea. Hamzat should be defending his belt. And Carlos Ulberg should be fighting Yuri Prochazka. Like that, if Pereira is to give up this belt and move up to heavyweight, Carlos Ulberg should be fighting Yuri Prochazka. It should not be Hamzat Chimaev. It should be Carlos Ulberg. If Hamzat goes up and fights Pereira, I hate that. Like, I don't love that either, but like, at least it's a big, like a huge fight. Hamzat versus Yuri is like, it's not a huge fight. So, but like I said earlier, we spoke with people. We were told not true. But again, I was also told this is something that apparently the UFC has like discussed, and it's kind of like a Hail Mary type of thing, but it makes no sense. Like, it truly makes no sense. I'll take a couple more if we get out of here. With the number 2 promotion in MMA a moot point, is the new conversation, is MVP now pushing to compete with TKO in the mixed martial entertainment space? I mean, they're competing already. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously the boxing model is different, but they're in the spectacle business and they're pretty damn good at it. Like, feel how you want to feel about Nikisa and Jake Paul and some of the fights and the Wolf tickets and all that stuff. But like, they know how to put on a spectacle. They really do. And a lot of people are going to watch that fight. All right, apparently the fights are on. Arena looks empty. Yeah, Houston ain't coming out for the early prelims. I just want to see Chimaev fight more. I don't need to see Usman again, even let alone for a title. Nah, come on, man. Come on, man. Nah, Usman's fine. You just cannot leapfrog all these other guys by beating Joaquin Buckley. No. In a fair and just world, Michael Morales should be fighting for the title. Like, this was hey, who did it best? We put all these fights together in a 6-month span, and it was Michael Morales. What he did to Sean Brady was the most impressive thing that happened during the run. And feel how you feel about Ian Machado Gary, maybe not the most exciting dude on earth, but dude is winning fights. He just beat Bilal Muhammad. Why Usman isn't jumping all over that fight is crazy to me. But there you go. Hamzat hater. No. I feel like Morales versus Gary for a title shot. Why should Gary fight? Why should those two dudes fight each other? One of those guys should be fighting for the belt. So, all right. Let's get on out of here. I'll give you my picks before we roll. Let's see what we got here. Let me pull them up real quick before we roll out of here. All right. Here we go. We'll run through the main card. We'll start with some middleweights. Zach Reese, the plus 140 underdog, taking on Michelle Pereira, who's the favorite at minus 166. This is according to our friends at FanDuel. And I'm going with Zach Reese, knocking him out in the first round. I just think Pereira's chin is completely gone. That's just how I feel. How dumb do you have to be to think John refused $30 million to fight Tom, but he accepts less for Pereira, who is way more accomplished and is way better? Wow. I'm not even gonna answer that. That is just an insane take by you. Because John didn't want to fight Tom. John wants to fight Alex. You think if the UFC came to him with two different offers, hey, I'll let you fight Pereira for $20 billion or fight Tom Aspinall for $30, he would have taken the 20. Because he would win and his legacy's still intact. That's how John operates. Trust me. That's how it works. All right, we move on. Jacoby Smith, the minus 330 favorite, the comeback on Josiah Harrell, plus 265. I will go Jacoby Smith by decision in a pretty fun fight. Is that really happening right now? Oh, I got to pull this up on my computer. Is this really happening? All right, hold on. Let's watch this together. Okay. No choke out. Juliana's trying to make this interesting though. All right, we go to the heavyweights. Ante Delia, the slight favorite, minus 126, comeback on Sergey Spivak, plus 108. I mean, my pick is Delia, but I mean, who knows? The betting lines are a little weird. We go to Melky Costa versus Dan Ige. Costa, the favorite, minus 215. Dan Ige, the plus 180 dog. I'll go Costa by decision. I think it's really fun. That's probably going to be the fight of the night, but I'll go with Costa winning a 29-28 decision. We go to the welterweight division, the co-main event, Jeff Neal, big favorite, minus 215, the comeback on Uros Medic, plus 180. This fight is not going to go long. I'm going with Jeff Neal, KO, round 2. This one ain't going to the cards. And then the main event, we have the big favorite, Anthony Hernandez, minus 245, the comeback on Sean Strickland, plus 200. I think if I was putting money on it, I'd probably taken a shot on Sean Strickland. I do think this fight should be lined a little closer. However, I think this is Fluffy Hernandez's night. I think he gets a huge win. I think, like I said earlier, I think he robs him. It's just going to be a relentless pace that Sean is just going to sit there and not be happy about. Takedown, Sean gets up, takedown, Sean gets up, takedown, Sean gets up, takedown, Sean gets up, over and over again. By round 3, Hernandez starts to land some shots in these transitions, starts to dirty box a little bit, clinches up, lands some elbows, and then I'm going TKO, round 4 for Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Oh, Judice is cracking her now. Oh, big elbow. I mean, Miller's tough. Tougher than a $2 steak. Shout out Jim Ross. But Judice is just hammering her. So shout out to Juliana Miller for making this somewhat more competitive than people thought it might be. But I don't know how many of these shots she's going to be able to take. So there we go. UFC Houston off and running here. We're already on the opening prelim. So We still got 13 more of these bad boys to go. And then when it's all said and done, I'll be back. We'll talk about it. I don't know if Jed's going to join me because he's on boxing duty. And from what I saw earlier, the walkouts for the main event of the Ryan Garcia Barrios fight is not till like almost midnight. And if the UFC card is still going by midnight, we're doing something terribly wrong here. So thank you very much. Enjoy the fights, everybody. And we will see you when they wrap up. You guys are the best.